No, sir. A simple Google search got avalanched by news of Zelensky's statement, and fact checkers like PolitiFact just updated and clarified in articles today. This from PolitiFact was just posted approximately 4 hours ago, about 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you, sir, have special insider information. You're a content creator who does this basically full time, and you have over 1 million followers on TikTok alone. You make pretty good money doing this. You've been on board a NATO aircraft carrier, and you visited the White House for the NATO summit. So Major Stewart points to this website, and my info was dated, and I'm updating and clarifying here now. But this website has a dashboard. Major Stewart says this website has been known for a long time and, quote, around since the get-go, end quote. Fact check, UkraineOversight.gov launched in March of 2024, so less than 1 year ago, and roughly 2 years after the unacceptably aggressive Russian invasion of Ukraine. Americans have legitimate and reasonable concerns regarding military and contractor spending and waste, fraud, and abuse in situations like Ukraine. And soon, more U.S. tax dollars are going to be going to Israel and Gaza. And this legitimate concern from American citizens stems from a long, rich history of scandals, irregularities, war profiteering, and waste, fraud, and abuse in U.S. military and foreign aid funding. In the Civil War alone, we had war profiteering and Union Army procurement scandals, not to mention the Confederate cotton trading issue. Then there was the Spanish-American War. Remember the Maine and to hell with Spain, if you believe that. We had the embalmed beef scandal and supply chain corruption. This takes us to World War I, where we had excessive contractor profits. The War Industries Board allowed unchecked war profiteering, with some businesses making fortunes from government contracts while providing little in return. Joe Biden Sr. worked with known mafia figure Arthur Briscoe on Biden's uncle Ed Sheen's war contracts. We also had ghost soldiers and payroll fraud, possible misuse of Liberty Loan funds, and the war was engineered, according to Smedley Butler. He was just a retired U.S. Marine Corps Major General and 2-time Medal of Honor recipient, and he said war is a racket. This takes us to World War II, where we had Lend-Lease fraud and Pentagon overspending. The Truman Committee exposed at least $15 billion in military waste. Then we had the military-industrial complex expansion during the Korean War. The Korean War saw military supply chain fraud, corruption in reconstruction aid, and possibly the unnecessary prolonging of the war, according to another Marine Corps general, General Lewis Walt. This brings us to the Vietnam War, where we had Phoenix program abuses, massive contractor fraud, and hello, the Pentagon paper, anybody? The Pentagon papers revealed that the LBJ administration had been systematically lying to the American people in Congress about the war's progress and financial costs for years. Interestingly, similar concerns have recently risen about Ukraine. The White House told content creators like Philip DeFranco and others about 2 years ago that Russia was running out of munitions and Ukraine was winning. This brings us to the Iran-Contra affair of the 80s, where we had secret arms sales to Iran and the diversion of funds to Contra rebels. This isn't touching on allegations or conspiracy theories about the CIA importation of cocaine into America. Then there are funding of Israel issues and concerns. There's allegations of lack of transparency and misuse of military aid. U.S. funds intended for defensive purposes have allegedly been used for controversial settlement expansions. I'm going to skip past Desert Storm. This takes us to Operation Iraqi Freedom, where we're still looking for $12 to $18 billion that Brimmer lost while he was the head of Coalition Provisional Authority, or CPA. Then there's Halliburton and KBR overbilling, where Dick Cheney's former company received no bid contracts and overcharged the U.S. government for supplies and logistics. And again, there were ghost soldiers. The Iraqi army was found to have tens of thousands of non-existent troops on payroll. We did the same thing in Iraq with Sons of Iraq and Anbar Awakening movements, in which we paid for a certain number of troops that probably weren't there. I'm not even touching on intelligence failures like 9/11 and 10/7 and the 2008 financial crisis, Enron, dozens of bank failures just this century alone. Those are whole different issues. This takes us to Afghanistan, where the SIGAR reports documented billions in wasted aid and military resources. There was the corruption in the Afghanistan government that was known. There were failed infrastructure projects and the supposedly surprise rise of the Taliban, which led to the withdrawal debacle. This takes us to Ukraine now, where we have lack of full transparency. Billions in aid have supposedly flowed into Ukraine without full oversight that we all know about until Preston comes along to save the day. There's Pentagon accounting errors that they've admitted to back in 2023, where they said, hey, we've made $6.2 billion error, so we've got actually more funds to send you. And there's admitted White House oversight delays. Trump's Hegseth is now in the Pentagon. Rubio is now Secretary of State. Gabbard is now confirmed as head of ODNI. While confirmation of Patel and others is still in the air, the world's richest man, Elon Musk, who's strangely pro-China, he just owns Shanghai Gigafactory for EV manufacturing, which ships EVs to Russia in circumvention of sanctions, is posturing to dismantle U.S. aid. Sir, your pointing to UkraineOversight.gov is simply insufficient and conspicuously oversimplistic. You actually do a deeper dive on your daily battle update briefs.